All right, party people, let's look at some Theros Beyond Death spoilers. We got 106 cards spoiled so far with over $430 in value. That seems high, but who am I to judge? I don't know. Maybe you want to buy some boxes of this. Let me just adjust my Card Kingdom coat, which was sent to me by my sponsor, who's also Card Kingdom. So thanks for sponsoring the channel and sponsoring my warmth insulation with the coat. It was very kind of you for these harsh Wyoming winters. But yeah, if you want to pre-order boxes or pre-order cards, Card Kingdom's a great place to do it online. If you're not going to do it your LGS, just throwing that out there. I'm biased. What can I say? I'm also biased that Ohio State got absolutely screwed in that semifinal playoff game. And if you don't agree, I don't think we were watching the same game. So there's that. Okay. Let's get into these $430 plus value cards, shall we? First one is in a language I can't speak, but it's Banishing Light. We had this on our last trip to Theros, and it's basically a ETB, Exile Nonland Permanent Enchantment. And enchantments matter in this set, so it's going to be a pretty good card for Limited. And Limited is usually the scope I'm looking at cards when I'm saying like good, not good. I'm talking about Limited. If it's about Constructed, some other format, I will make a note of that. I'll be explicit about that, but in general, talking about Limited. This card, again, another foreign language I cannot speak, at least fluent. I can't read it, but I can speak it. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. Legend of the Leftover Nog. It's a saga. Super happy to see sagas coming back. This is nice. It makes sure you don't miss your land drop. Doesn't ramp you, but that's kind of what white does. It just gets you land in your hand, if anything. And then you get an 0/4 wall to gum up the board a bit and gain some life. And we'll see that there's other cards that gain you life. I haven't seen a whole lot of gain life synergies, so we'll see how good that actually ends up being. Hopefully it ends up being good, because I want white to be good. You know what I mean? It's felt a little lackluster as of late. Okay, next card, Commanding Presence, another enchantment. 3 enchantments in a row, no big deal. This is a card that you're going to have to deal with if it gets played on your opponent's side of the board, because it's a big deal. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and his first strike. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you create a 1/1 human token. That's a big deal, because if every time they attack with it, you're either losing a creature because you probably can't block the pumped up first strike creature they're swinging with, and then you also don't want them to get a huge wide board because that's a problem in Limited. Or I should say, it's a bigger problem in Limited typically because you don't have board wipes or things that just do damage to all creatures. Okay, moving on. Daxos, Blessed by the Sun. He looks a little overconfident, but comes into the battlefield as a 2/2. His toughness grows as your devotion to white grows, which kind of makes sense. He's a new creature type 2, demigod. Interesting. And it's our 4th enchantment in a row. And he helps you gain life as well. Cool. Neat, as the kids say. Elspeth, Sun's Nemesis. I was not a fan of this card when it was spoiled. I think it's rather weak, and I'm ready to be proven wrong. I will say I'm also a little hesitant on the escape mechanic, at least for Limited, because I'm not sure how often you have a graveyard full of cards. So I'm curious to see how each archetype or color combo gets cards in the graveyard to take advantage of the escape mechanic. But I will say, from a flavor standpoint, top tier. I love the idea of Theros Beyond Death, Elspeth trying to get beyond death, trying to escape death. So we have an escape mechanic. I mean, you nailed it. Okay. Heliod, Sun Crowned, is a jerk. He's a big jerk. If you haven't seen my Theros recap video, well, maybe I'll put a card up. I don't know. I'll put it in the description, something like that. But Heliod's a jerk, and this card is really strong. For all formats, it's probably going to get something banned in Pioneer and or Modern, because it and Walking Ballista is a you win the game combo. So, cool. Like, literally, you can, if you have 4 mana, you can play out Walking Ballista with 2 counters on it, play Heliod, give your Ballista lifelink, and then you just infinitely ping someone down, or you could wipe all their creatures to send a message and then knock you down to 1 life and then destroy your opponent. You can just do it however you see fit, because Heliod is here to just make life difficult. Okay, moving on. Hero of the Winds has heroic without saying it. Idyllic Tutor is a really good reprint. I mean, if you're a newer player, especially Commander player, you're going to want many copies of this, and I think it's going to make some decks in Standard either more competitive or more consistent. Like if you're on that Dance of the Mance deck, Philip, I know you're out there, this may be a card that helps with that deck. So who knows? We'll have to see how it does. I also really love the artwork. The flavor of the set, the feeling of the artwork, 2 thumbs up for me. So far it's looking really good. Next we have Indomitable Will. And a flash on an enchantment feels really good in this set. Feels far better than it would normally feel in a set that's not on Theros. And it's kind of a removal spell for white, right? If your opponent attacks in, you can flash this in, eat their creature, have a good day, and maybe get an enchantment trigger or synergy there. Would you want it just as a pump up creature effect? Yeah, I mean, probably, because it's a combat trick, but it's like a permanent combat trick. That's an enchantment. Yeah, you probably want at least one of these in most white decks that are going to be creature focused, which I assume is most. Maybe I'm jumping ahead. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. All right, Leonin of the Lost Pride. I really like this card. You're probably going to want it in every white deck, at least one of them, because you always need a decent amount of 2-drops, and the fact that when this dies, it exiles a card from an opponent's graveyard, like Elspeth, so she can't escape. Cool. You want Leonin. Only the one of the Lost Pride. Like Johnny's Pride Mate, no, he's not welcome here. Then we got Nyxborn Courser, who's another enchantment creature, a little 2/4 action. Revoke Existence is super good in this set, and you want every copy of it you can get in a limited environment, because you exile artifact or enchantment, which can also be a creature that's an enchantment or, of course, or an artifact creature. Yeah, so it's a good card. Then we have a card that I think got spoiled, or I should say leaked. If you ever leak cards, I am not going to be your friend, because people that leak cards are big jerks. I digress. Ashiok's Erasure. It's an enchantment. You flash it in, it counters a spell. What that means is that spell has to be on the stack. You can't target a creature that's already entered the battlefield. And this is really nice because it basically captures it and they can't cast another copy of that card. So if they're playing 7 dwarves, which aren't in the set, that could be a big deal. So this will probably be, I mean, it'll be fine for limited. I'm expecting it to make the cut in constructed, especially that Dance in the Man stack. What? Yeah. Like the artwork as well. Ashiok. I'm becoming a fan of Ashiok the more I learn about Theros. I'm curious to see how this story develops. Next is Brine Giant, and I'm expecting this to be somewhat of a bomb creature, because big creatures in limited are bombs, and the fact that this one can kind of be ramped into if you have a lot of these enchantments, like Ideon of Philosophy, Eidolon, I don't know. But you can basically ramp into it, get a big body down there, and close the game out quickly if they can't answer it. And the fact that it's not an enchantment itself, I think, is in its benefit, or to its benefit. Yeah, and then Eidolon of Philosophy, you probably only want to play this creature if you don't have much of a late game plan just to win through raw card advantage, or because you got enchantment synergies. I'm curious to see. It's always interesting to see how these 1-drop creatures feel once you finally start playing some limited of the set, but these are definitely creatures to keep an eye out for. And then this card, what is it? Glimpse of Freedom. Draw card, instant, 1 in a blue. Seems not that good. Unless the idea is you cycle a card and then you get a card into your graveyard to escape. I don't imagine you're ever going to want to actually escape this card out. It just doesn't seem that good, especially for an uncommon. I'm not sold on it quite yet. Unless you have a lot of need to escape stuff out, just seems odd to me. Yeah, maybe I'm just missing something. Memory Drain, love the artwork. You're probably playing this in most limited decks because counter spells are really good, especially against indestructible big god creatures that your opponent's definitely going to open up, and you're definitely not. At least I'm definitely not going to open up, I assume. My luck with getting mythic rare promo cards and such in my pre-release packs has not been great as of late. So I need to play probably Memory Drains if I end up in blue. Nadir Kraken is an absolute bomb, and a card that I'm definitely going to be putting into a commander deck or two. Because if you play Magic with me for any amount of time, you will learn that I enjoy token decks. And the fact that this is a card that creates a new type of token. We've never seen tentacle creatures before. I would want to play it. I want to try it out. I want to see how it does grow into be a 95, 96 Kraken with 94, 93. Math is hard. Tentacles somewhere on the board. Awesome. Okay, what's up next? We have Dancing with the Stars. I love Scryfalls. We're just going to throw a name out there and see how it does until we actually get the right translation. This card, I don't know much about it. I think someone smarter than me will break it. But basically, you enchant a creature or enchantment, and it just becomes an enchantment with no other abilities. Like, is that a way to abuse the legend rule in a sense of you can have 2 of the same legend out in play? Yeah, TBD. Who knows? Dancing with the Stars seems interesting. This card seems terrible for limited. Nom Nom Delicious cards. I think the artwork's pretty cool, but I don't know why you'd ever want to play this in limited. Sorcery, 2 mana, target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. I get that it activates escape or gets possible creatures to escape from your graveyard, but I'm assuming in limited you just want, like, wouldn't you just rather have a spell instead of something that hopefully maybe gets you to play another spell later on? Like, just play the spell now every time. Again, maybe I'm missing something. I don't know, but not a huge fan of that card. Thirst for Meaning, I am a huge fan of this card. At instant speed, draw 3, and then you can discard an enchantment or 2 cards. Seems like a solid card. And the artwork, the Merfolk coming in, I'm a fan of Merfolk. I like it. And we're going to see cards like Towering Wave Mystic. That makes us think maybe Millfolk, Mermill. Was there other puns that I was trying to come up with for him? Folk, land, mill cards. Nailed it. Okay, whenever it deals damage, target player puts that many cards from the top of their library into their graveyard. So this can be really nice in limited if you need to get cards of your own into your graveyard to escape something out, or if you want to run a mill plan, which is probably more of a constructed game plan, you can really start milling your opponent out. There you go. This is a frightening looking legendary creature, Ephemia the Cacophony. I think I read that right. Who knows? You probably do. That's because you're listening and you can probably read stuff. Okay, flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile an enchantment card from your graveyard. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. That'd be pretty sweet if it was your opponent, like any graveyard you could exile it from. From your own seems interesting. It probably works best in like a blue-black mill plan where you have plenty of enchantments in your graveyard to target. It seems it's definitely gonna be strong and limited, just being a 2/1 flyer for 2 that then builds your board out. Hopefully, you're just going to have some synergy pieces in there with it. Cling to Dust, I'm a huge fan of. Exile a card from your opponent's graveyard that like is their big escape threat. Now it's gone, and you're either gaining life or drawing a card. This card seems like one you're going to want to play at least a copy of in every limited black deck you build. Erebos, I mean, all the gods are good. I don't think we really need to get into it too much. I would be stoked to open any of them in a pre-release kit, and then hopefully my pool can support that color. Or you can go the mono black plan, because Gary's back, and Gary is a bomb in limited. He's a bomb in constructed. He's a bomb in commander. He's the bomb. He's also stealing sacks of gold, so this dude is absolutely much stronger than this picture would appear, because this is probably 10,000 pounds on his shoulders. What's up, Gary? Glad to have you back. If you haven't played with him before, you need to be afraid of this card whenever your opponent plays it, or if you open it, you need to hope that you can play black, because Gray Merchant of Asphodel Gary is no joke. Okay, Inevitable End. I love this card. I think this card's phenomenal. I think it's going to be amazing in limited. Enchant creature. So you put it on their best creature, and they have to start sacking all their small chump blockers or whatnot. And then, or they just have to get rid of that so that they can keep their board. So it's always going to be, a creature that gives you value the longer it's in play. Or if your opponent only plays, like, they only have one creature out, well, they now have to sacrifice it, and they can't keep that big wall there. This is a great card. If you're playing black, you want a copy of this. Mire Triton is probably one of the best black uncommons I've seen so far. A 2/1 Death Touch, always decent. And the fact that when it ETBs, you get to put 2 cards in your graveyard to help with escaping and gain life, not lose life, seems I'm surprised how good this was. I thought it was lose life when I first read it, because that's, black typically makes you lose life, but this card seems super good. Mire's Grasp, also super good. Gets rid of indestructible creatures as well, if they have 3 toughness or less. And it's just removal. It's a good, or it's a shrink your creature down to where it's now not a problem. Good card. You want that. Temerit Calls the Dead. It's a good card. I don't think it's as good in limited as it will be in constructed, because you may only have like 2 zombies, and 2 zombies for 3 mana is not bad, especially gain 2 life, scry 2. Like, that can really help you out, especially if it gets 2 bad draws out of the way. I'm going to play it in limited if I have it. For sure, I just don't think it's quite a bomb, or it's at that bomb level. Woe Strider, though, I feel like is pretty good, because if you play it out, it eventually dies. That's fine. You have a goat. I think that's this little thing right here. I'm not entirely sure. This artwork is very creepy. Horror. Nailed it on the creature type. And if you're into constructed, Woe Strider is gonna be great because it's a free sack outlet that lets you scry and find a card you need. There's gonna be some great combos with this. I like this card a lot. The Acrone War. Again, love the Sagas. I like this one too, because we have a few that kind of show what the card is doing with each step. So the first one, gain control of target creature for as long as the Acrone War remains on the battlefield, which basically says, hey, come with me. And they're like, No, 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 I don't want to. And then this guy's like, but the card says so. Sorry. And then the second one, until your next turn, creatures your opponent controls attack each combat if able. This guy's like, hey, now that you're here, you gotta go attack. Even though you're sad, I know you're sad, gotta get up and attack. And then this one, each tapped creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. So the idea is you've attacked with your opponent's creature. So basically all the creatures that are tapped have to fight themselves. They're hitting themselves. They're like, quit hitting yourself. And the person that made the tapestry couldn't finish it because he had to hit himself. Unfortunately passed, and we're left with unfinished artwork. This is a very strong card. Very, very strong card. Right, I'm reading it right. Until your next turn, creatures your opponents control attack each turn if able. Attack each combat if able. Because it's making them attack, and then on your turn, wait, if it's your second turn, you pass, they have to attack, they're tapped. On your next turn, the third effect goes off, so they're still, yeah, okay. It's a strong card. Just wanted to reconfirm that with myself. Escape Velocity. I think you're only going to want to play this if you have a reason to have enchantments entering the battlefield. I think just having it as a +1/+0 in haste isn't going to be consistently good enough. Like if it had flash or gave it first strike, I'd probably be a bigger fan of it than just a haste. I can be proven wrong though. I'm not trying to say my opinions here are infallible. Far from it. Next is Ox of Agonas. I like the Phoenix deck. I'm glad it's now got a land creature to help it out. Ox is going to be a big deal in Limited and in Constructed, so be ready for it. Perforos is no joke. He's probably the weakest in Limited, just because you can't really abuse his ability with stupid huge creatures, but he's a 7/6 for 5 mana, so if you ever make him a creature, your opponent's going to have absolutely no way to deal with that in the long run. Fantastic. Yeah, you just need to kind of assume if you're playing Limited that you find a way to exile or deal with these god creatures, because you better believe if you're doing well in a pre-release and you keep going on, like you win your first match, you win your second match, you're going to run into someone who's got god creatures in their deck because they're just super strong. You got to have answers for them. Storm Herald. Awesome artwork. Not sure how great it'll be in Limited, because typically if you have a deck in Limited with a lot of aura cards, that's a very high risk, high reward type of deck. If you have any amount of removal that really hinders their plan of trying to run you over, this doesn't seem like a super good card in Limited, but Constructed, definitely. This card is Thunderbolt and Lightning, very, very frightening. Me, hilarious. But it's a red board wipe for all creatures and planeswalkers. Underworld Breach, I'm sure you've all seen it. Someone's going to break this card with like Sundial of the Infinite or something that just ends the turn so you can keep escaping your cards over and over. As long as you can fill your graveyard up, it seems like a card that can be abused, and I have no problem with that. I'm excited to see what happens with this thing. Underworld Ragehound seems like a good creature for Limited. You just want to make sure that when you're playing this card, you're playing plenty of combat tricks or something that makes it big, because you don't want to play it in the mid game, have a 3/1, attack into a 4/4, and just lose your creature for no reason. That doesn't seem great. So yeah, just try and, you're going to want to play this in that aggressive type of deck where you have the combat tricks and enchantments to make your stuff much harder to stop. The Binding of the Titans. This is a great card. Just remember the second phase. Exile 2 cards from a graveyard means you may have to hit your own if your opponent has none to target. It seems like a pretty decent card. I'm excited about this one. Also love that artwork. This, obviously another language I can't speak. It's a fog effect that is really good if you have a lot of enchantment creatures. It stops all combat damage that would be dealt this turn except by enchanted creatures. So that's you and your opponent. Hopefully you're the only one with enchanted creatures though. Then you get to scry 2. So for 4 mana at instant speed, could work, but it would definitely be a build around type of card. Clothis' Design. Nailed that. Creatures you control get +X/+X till at a turn where X is your devotion to green. Since we've only really seen token generators with white so far, I'm not a huge fan of this card. Unless you have a really good, consistent go-wide strategy, and then this is basically your win condition, or there's a lot of trample. If you don't have a lot of trample, if you just have like 2 or 3 creatures on the board and your opponent can just chump block, you know, I guess maybe I'm talking myself out of it. Maybe that's good enough if it ends up basically being a board wipe. Okay, I can be convinced that this is a good card, but it's usually when you have to have multiple creatures on the board that don't be impacted by your opponent at some instant speed thing, it can be questionable, but I could see this being your win condition. I've talked myself out of it. This card's decent. Okay. 10 Lords of Leaping, obviously. We get the green one. which I'm surprised the green god is not the biggest of the gods, right? Like green's thing is usually being the biggest, but Perforos is just a big deal, I guess. Anyway, Nylea, is that her name? I thought that doesn't sound right, but it probably is, and I'm just wrong. Ramps your creatures so they cost 1 less, and then you need to look at the top card. If it's a creature, you can put it in your hand or basically scry it to the bottom. No, put it in your graveyard. So it's like Surveil 1. Surveil 1, but it's a creature, you get to draw it. Did not make that any clearer. Nyxborn Colossus. Oh, this is a great card with our Clothis' design. Give all your creatures +3/+3. Again, I just hope that there's some options to give your stuff trample. But yeah, that's another big, basically bomb creature, although it's triple green. So maybe, I'm not sure with the triple green. I'm not sure if monocolored could be a way to go. That seems interesting. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm curious how many mana fixer ramp cards there are in the set as well. It's a Tessin Champion. Seems good. Constellation. Whenever an enchantment ETBs, put a 1/1 counter on it and draw a card. This card's going to be a bomb in limited, especially I think green-white will be really strong with this because it has some flash enchantments. Or just any set or any color that has flash enchantments, you're going to be a fan to have this card in your deck. This is Mary Gary, maybe, but gain life equal to your devotion to green on a 2/2 that costs 3. Unless you have life gain synergies, I'm not playing it. Allure of the Unknown, another card that I love the artwork. Seb McKinnon, big fan of his work. This card, though, seems not good to me. I'm on the fence. When I first read it, I was like, wow, your opponent gets your best card out of 6. That doesn't seem good. But I didn't realize they have to use it right when you cast it. Like, as this spell resolves, they have to use the one they pull. And in that instance, it may not be as impactful as it could be if they could cast it at any time. So I'm hesitant to just say this card is terrible. I'm on the fence about it. This is probably the one that I have the biggest question mark on right now to see how good it ends up being. Because the fact that you can pay 5, essentially draw 5, but draw like the weakest 5 of the 6, like how significant is that? Maybe you have 2 of the strongest cards in those 6, then your opponent's all kinds of sad. But taking probably turn 5 off to cast it as well, because it's a sorcery, could be too detrimental to ever really want to play it. I don't know. Again, like big question mark for me. Moving on. Ashiok, Nightmare Muse. Love the artwork. Card's just really good and limited. You get to create tokens. You get to mill stuff. You get to bounce stuff. You're not. Are you milling? Yeah. The tokens mill. It's just a really strong card. Atreus, Oracle of Half-Truths. Love the name. It's basically like Oracle of Gossip. Big fan of you. And the effect, I'm always a huge fan of mind game stuff like this, where it's like, look at the top 3, put 1 face down, 1 face up pile. You then get to choose and just figure out, what is my opponent thinking? They've shown me a really good card face up, but are there 2 really good cards face down? Are they 2 land? I have no idea what's happening. I'm just always going to say, lean on the idea that if there's a good card staring you in the face, don't do the Peter Griffin thing and say, but it could be a boat in the box. Like, take the boat, you know. Another wise quote from Mountain Man Magic. I digress. Point is, I really like effects like this. It makes the game far more interesting. That's what I'm getting at. Devourer of Memory is an absolute bomb. The gold cards in this set are definitely the signpost cards for this set and that archetype is trying to do. Blue-black is obviously kind of like a self-mill type thing, which is what this does, but it's also a creature that gets bigger every time you mill a card. Or I guess you mill 1 or more cards. It gets bigger and it can't be blocked. So you play this in the early game, that's a problem. You play it in the mid game, it's a bigger problem. If you play it in the late game, you probably put your opponent on like a 2 or 3 turn clock by playing this thing in the late game. They need to deal with it right away, or else you're gonna devour their memory. That's just the way of the world, I suppose. Galea of the Endless Dance. I absolutely love this artwork. This poor dude in a headlock. He's like, what am I supposed to do here? She's like, party, dude. We are partying. There is no success like excess. Now you know. But it's just cool. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may discard a card at random. If you do, draw 2 cards. Not too shabby. Basically, red-green, you're just trying to make bodies and swing for the win. And then we got Clothis, God of Destiny, or Clothis, God of Destiny. Just really strong. It's really good. We have your pre-combat main phase. Exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a land card, you get mana. Otherwise, you gain 2 life, and it deals 2 damage to each opponent. So 2-headed giant. Those of you that watch my 2-headed giant pre-release guides, you better believe and be calling this card out. And I love the artwork. Like, it's blind. Justice is blind. And Clothis is ready to swing for the fences. Staggering Insight is this. This blue-white enchantment is probably going to be my least favorite card from this set. Because I despised Curious Obsession from Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, whatever. I've tried to repress that card as much as I can. Hated that card. And this card is very reminiscent of that, except it costs 1 more mana, it costs a white. But now it has lifelink, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Although this one doesn't have to be sacrificed if you don't attack, so it has less drawbacks, even though it costs more mana. I hate this card. And in limited, it'll be super strong, because blue-white's going to be tempo flyer type stuff, as it usually is. So the fact that if they get this thing out on curve, if you don't deal with it in like 2 turns, you probably lose the game. That's how good I view this card to be. Then we have our Captain Crunch. That's probably one of the best names. That's going to be the name of this card no matter what it is. Captain Crunch. 4/4 trample, but it can't attack unless you control another creature with power 4 or greater. So it's going to be another red-green, having 4 power creatures matter again type of set. Got it. Nyx Lotus. Just seeing the word Lotus, I think, makes everyone's heart skip a beat. Everyone gets a little excited, like, wait, how good is this card going to be? It's going to be good. Enters the battlefield tapped, and then you choose a color, add an amount of mana equal to your devotion to that color. So it's only going to be able to produce 1 color of mana, but every commander deck is probably going to want this. That's 1 or 2 colors. And it seems like it's something that's really good. I wouldn't be surprised to see this card start as like a few bucks, and then just as it slowly just creeps up to being like a $5, maybe even a $10 card. 10 might be a little high, but in like 6 months after the set's released and we have the next set or so out, this will be the card that people realize, oh, this was actually a bit better than we initially thought. I should have bought 5 or 8 copies of it so I could have them for every deck I'll ever build that needs it. Just a thought. I could be wrong. This card seems really good to me, though. Field of Ruins back so you can get rid of cards that are banned, like Field of the Dead. Miss you, Field of the Dead. Bummer. Temples are back. Artwork's beautiful. These lands are crazy. I want to see how they look in person first. I like the idea that, you know, when you see an awesome sunrise or sunset, that's the vibe I'm getting from these. And, you know, like the fact that the gods are from the heavens and they're above and the dark, and like these have that feel. I think from a flavor standpoint, this is the best set to do something like this with lands. I'm a fan of it. I like it. Like these artworks, like these cards, like the buy a box promo. Athreos seems really strong. I hate the idea that we have themed booster cards and that cards are only available in those themed booster packs, because I don't want to buy a $5, $6 boost, $7, $8 booster pack to hopefully get 1 rare. You know, that's frustrating. None of these seem like over the top good broken, but they're ones that you probably want. Like, I want this dragon one. I want the demon one because I just like dragons and demons, and I'm bummed that I'm going to buy it 2 or 3 boxes and then have 0 chance of getting these because I don't often buy themed booster packs because there's just a whole lot of chaff in there that I don't necessarily need. Yeah, I'm not happy to see this at all. This is probably my least favorite aspect of this set. The extended art border, kind of glad to see him back. That was probably my favorite thing of the Theros collector booster packs, or sorry, I should say Throne of Eldraine collector booster packs. I am genuinely bummed that we do not get collector booster packs with the buy a box, or as a part of the buy a box promotion. It feels like you set us up to succeed with Throne of Eldraine, and then you just tore it away, and you hurt my heart, and it bummed me out. But yeah, that's kind of my feelings, my thoughts on all the cards that have been spoiled thus far. I'll try and do another one of these as we get closer to spoiler season. Of course, make sure to subscribe and whatnot, because you know I'm going to come out with those pre-release guides that I put my heart and soul into. I love making those things. If you're going to a pre-release, you definitely need to check them out. Thank you all for watching. Happy 2020. I'm looking forward to Theros Beyond Death. It looks like a really fun set. We'll see you in the next video. Take it easy. Peace.